Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off. If you've ever wondered, if you ever had a clue what would happen if Batman, the Avengers, the X-Men fought the 47 Ronin, you will have great hitting, power strikes, and speed. This event will be known as the North Texas Stick Fighting Championships. It's open to all martial artists. This is where legends are formed, where they're forged, where they are founded. Sign up now. Call the number 956-401-4868 and look up the website at www.savate.biz. So remember, this is for serious martial artists. If you're not serious, sit back and whisper about the event. If not, we'll see you there.
Back at you in Gloves Off. Today we have Associate Judge Nathan Chu. How are we doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Paul.
Well, thank you for coming out, and
Yeah.
we're touching base. And how do you like your place over Municipal Court? How's it going?
It's going well. Judge Dominguez is doing an excellent job of steering the court where it needs to go. So where he wants it to go is that he wants the court to go paperless, to go electronic, which means that at the end of the day, when they look up their name on the computer, they can see their name, they can see the date where they need to attend to, and also the court. So, like I said, the most exciting thing right now is we're dividing that big old court up into three smaller courtrooms.
And that's something that you all talked about when you all were running it. There was a lot of issues with time and so on and so forth. So I guess that's facilitating it then, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people don't want to go to the court because it just eats up so much of their time. It's not organized before. They would go in, they would wait for a paper, a trail. That means that the clerk would have to look up their file, track down a prosecutor. Sometimes there was just one, now there's two. And now there's three judges that are there. So yes, of course, I mean, it speeds up the process so much more.
What kind of cases right now are the ones that are kind of you're seeing the most of?
The cases that we're seeing, the initial appearance, which means that folks just got their citation probably about a month ago, 2 weeks ago. So those are handled very fast. They'll either plea or plead no contest or ask to go to trial. And if they ask to go to trial, that trial date is, you're talking about 2 months, Paul. So they get their day in court very fast. And the time that I've been there, I've already run through a jury trial and a couple bench trials. So think about it, each week, given week, we're going through about 2 or 3 trials, either between myself, Judge Davila, or Judge Dominguez.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. So that's the most important thing, is that people want to be heard. People want to have their day in court, because sometimes they don't believe that they did something wrong. We give them that opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. What type of cases are you seeing, or infractions are you seeing the most stuff right now?
The speeding in the school zone, and the texting while driving. Those are very problematic, especially when they're speeding in the school zone. I mean, they're putting our kids in danger.
Of course.
Sometimes folks forget, because if it's during school, it's 20 miles versus the 30 miles, and our motorcycle cops, they have a very good team, and those gentlemen are very vigilant, and they're constantly pulling people over and reminding them, hey, look, drive slow, stay safe, protect our kids.
Yeah. So does it matter in age bracket, men, women, teens? Which are the ones that are actually coming out with, you know what, or you all haven't made that study, or it's getting a few?
I've seen it, because I'll have days where I'll go through 100 folks, 150 folks, and it doesn't matter. It just varies all across the board. You have your juveniles from 16-year-old all the way to grandparents, 70 plus, and they're doing the same stuff. All they're speeding or they're checking their phone. And the most funniest thing is that when I was like, you know what, I was at a stop sign and I was checking my text. Like, no, it's just you still can't. And you just had the unlucky time of having the cop patrolman right next to you and giving you a citation.
But it's funny because when you drive, you see everybody with their phone in hand.
Yeah.
And it's they're driving or they have it on speaker and they're driving with a phone in front of you, and you're like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to have your phone in your hand.
No, you're not. You're distracted, and you're causing problems. And just look at last weekend, right? Or weekend before, there was just that major accident off of Highway 35. So it tells you, driving is a very dangerous, thing to do, and you just need to be aware, cognizant of your surroundings, and cognizant of the other drivers around you.
No, you're absolutely correct. And what happens is, I guess people have already become, it's been a form of habit for us to drive, right?
Yes.
So we don't see the danger of it.
We don't see the danger.
So we just take it nonchalant, and all of a sudden, death occurs. You're driving a vehicle that weighs 2,000 pounds more than most of them, and guess what? Something's going to happen.
If you break it down, it's pretty scary, Paul. On our highway, there's 4 or 5 lanes. Each vehicle is minimum about 3,800 to 4,000 pounds, barreling down at 60 to 80 miles per hour. Just imagine any of those vehicles colliding into each other.
Absolutely.
And if you're not clicked up in your seatbelt properly, if you're distracted, you're not paying attention, you're not being a defensive driver, paying attention to the other folks on the road, some serious problems are going to happen.
Of course.
Especially those folks that did not have their seatbelt on, they were ejected from the vehicle, and they died instantly.
Absolutely. Do you see more here in Laredo, more motorcycle speeding tickets versus cars, or it's more cars than motorcycles?
Actually, I've hardly seen any motorcycle tickets. It's all been vehicles, and it's been, and then I've seen 18-wheeler or CDL drivers with a lot of either speeding or equipment failures. So what that tells me is that we've got really good officers out there that are checking that these 18-wheelers have their proper equipment, and if they don't have their proper equipment, they're getting cited for that.
Absolutely.
And then the thing that we really want to impress on people is that, hey, look, have insurance. You may not have it now.
But get it.
You may take a lesson by getting pulled over and get a citation for it, but when they come to court, they have insurance. So the whole idea is keep insurance, maintain insurance. Protect yourself, protect the other people on the road.
Absolutely. What else have changed? You're talking about 3 courts. How's that coming along?
Oh, gosh, you have to go and visit it. It's already been cut up. The drywall's up. So, there's going to be new paint, new courts. Probably by the end of September, early October, we'll have 3 courts operational. one court to do initial, which means that you've just got your ticket and you're going to court. One court for show cause, which means that you've been hiding for a while and we finally caught up to you and now you're showing to court and explaining why you did not show up to court. And another court for trials. So what that means is that there's, constantly there's always 3 judges ready to go for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I guess Laredo's actually taken fond of that, no? I guess, they're pleased with that change.
They're pleased with that change because, the thing is that, folks do commit traffic violations. And a lot of folks that I talk to that are before the bench are like, yes, I did something wrong. I need to own up to it. I either need to pay. If there's a hardship issue, as is if they're a student, single parent, low income, then if they cannot pay, then they'll ask for something called community service. And then they'll do that.
Absolutely.
And then with folks that are completely indigent, Paul, like if there is severe medical issues, disability, whatnot, and they cannot pay, then we'll set them up with something called an indigent hearing, where we determine if they have their income to pay for the citation. If they don't, then we can do something to help them out with that.
What other types of cases do you all see there?
We see, we have juveniles that go through there, Paul. These juveniles are curfew violations. So for me, that's troubling because number one, they're out driving and they're out past 10 p.m. So those we always talk to them. We send them to a counseling session, say, hey, look, that you have to be more mature. You have to be aware that you're putting your parents don't know where they are because they're sneaking out.
Sure.
So when I talk to them in court, that's the first thing that they see is like, did you know that your kid was gone? No, I didn't. So we really sit them down, we get them the counseling and tell them, hey, look, this is not something that you should do.
Now, what is a curfew? Because I've heard that there's a curfew, and I've heard a lot of people say that there's not. And in what's the time frame of the curfew in weekdays compared to weekends?
Yes, so they're on their license. So a lot of these juveniles, when we get them, they are under 18, so they have a restriction on their license. Their restriction on the license saying that they cannot be on the road past 10 p.m.
Okay, so it's not a curfew, a municipality curfew, it's a driving restriction.
It's a driving restriction, so that's how we get to them. It's like, if you have this privilege of driving, then we're gonna set certain conditions for you.
Okay.
You have to have an adult over 21 with you, and you have to be off the road by 10 p.m. And primarily because they're juveniles, and the society is saying, hey, look, we need to have these conditions in place to protect them, because we don't want them driving around at 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what happens when you have a 16-year-old, 17-year-old that has a car and he's working and he gets pulled over at 11 o'clock because the shift ended?
Well, so
do we have does that change matters a little bit?
No, he still has that restriction, Paul. So if he knows that restriction, then he can't drive around at that time.
So it changes. Now, do we have a municipality restriction that we know of, that for teenagers not to be out, like in other cities? Does Laredo have one, or it's never been brought up?
I don't think it's been brought up in our court. I can look into it for you, so we can get back to you on that one.
Yeah, because that I know that in some cities, like in Irving, they have the 10:30 restriction.
Mm-hmm.
No kids could be out running around by themselves.
Right.
If they're with their parents, it's one thing.
Right.
And I know Arlington had a different one, and Dallas was trying to prevent one. This was back in the 90s.
Okay.
So I don't know if they do have one or not.
I'm sure we do. I just have to get you the specific section where it's at.
Sure. Because that would be something that will fall with you guys as well, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the same thing, curfew.
Now, anything else you want to tell the folks out there?
No. Things are going pretty well. Don't be afraid to go to the court. If you have a citation, you have an old citation, you're going to get that phone call by our friendly police officers to come to court. It's better to attend to it than to wait for them to pick you up on a weekend.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't know they might have one, or they might have forgotten about one. how can they go about and checking if they do or not?
The best way right now is just to go in person and check. Just go in person and say, hey, look, I need to check if I have something on my record or something. It's been so long, it's been 5 years, it's been 10 years. I've had cases as old as like 11, 12 years, Paul. And they're there and we handle everything at once. But they had the courage to come to the court and check and see what was going on.
Right.
And then, like I said, I've had calls, on weekends, Saturdays, Sunday mornings, saying, hey, look, this person's incarcerated for speeding tickets. And that's something that you don't want to do. You don't want to spend jail on the weekend because you didn't go to the court to, figure out what's going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, number one, thank you for all three of you judges up there, you and Judge Dominguez and Judge Davila as well as yourself, and to pushing forward the municipal court into a new direction.
Yeah, it's
highly needed.
It's just going so fast and in a progressive, positive way that people are just amazed by it.
And it's 7 months, right? 7 months.
Right, it's only been 7 months, right?
7 months or 8 months? 8 months now, 8 months, yeah.
It's only been 8
So
months.
it's, a lot has been done.
Yeah, it's been 8 months since Judge Dominguez took the home. It's been about, I think about 3 months for us that he's had full capacity at 3.
So it's, a lot has changed.
Yes.
And it's great. It's great to see.
Yeah, you see, like, when you walk into there, the attitudes of everybody's has changed. All the clerks, our officers, everybody has a positive attitude. Because, look, stuff happens, right? You're just there to handle it. And they're there to help you process it through. No one needs to be mean or derogatory to anybody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, once more, thank you.
Thank you, Paul, so
And
much.
folks out there, remember, no texting and driving. And stop when you see a school
Buckle
bus.
up.
Peace.
Thank you.
So,
For 30 years, Buitron Academy has produced great fighters, peace officers, firemen, and many great citizens of Laredo. We teach various martial arts, savate, kempo, capoeira, each in their own traditions, trajectory, history, and pedagogy. Buitron Academy is the first school of savate in the United States, the first capoeira movement in Texas, the first kempo school in Laredo. What will one expect to see at Buitron Academy? Respect, fellowship, coordination, skill, and self-defense. Buitron Academy is located at 220 West Hillside Road.
If you've ever wondered, if you ever had a clue what would happen if Batman, the Avengers, the X-Men fought the 47 Ronin, you will have great hitting, power strikes, and speed. This event will be known as the North Texas Stick Fighting Championships. It's open to all martial artists. This is where legends are formed, where they're forged, where they are founded. Sign up now. Call the number 956-401-4868 and look up the website at www.savate.biz. So remember, this is for serious martial artists. If you're not serious, sit back and whisper about the event. If not, we'll see you there. Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.